everyone. Welcome to Dear Hallmark. My name is Dara. This is a space where I nerd and geek out over Hallmark Channel movies, TV shows, and stuff. And guys, I'm not by myself today. No, no, no. The woman I have with me inside the home of Dear Hallmark, you guys, I found Tinkerbell, and her name is Cindy Busby. Cindy Busby, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing so well. I am really enjoying this nickname you've given me, and I'm vibing with it.
Yes, like seriously, like following you on Instagram, like I'm pretty sure your biological makeup is pixie dust and fairy or something. Because I just love just how cheery and bright and positive and light you are on Instagram. If you guys aren't already, please follow Cindy on Instagram. You will not regret it. Your story that you did where you did the
The
Grinch
Grinch.
filter. Oh my God.
I was getting on to get there, and I was like, let's see what the filters are today. And then I saw that, and I was like, I can't not use it. This is like
Yes.
the greatest thing ever.
Perfect. So perfect. Oh my goodness. So how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I am, amping up because I'm about to go to Christmas Con,
Yes. Oh
which I'm
my gosh.
super excited about.
Yes.
We're traveling. My husband's gonna come with me. The dog's coming. It's like a whole family
Yes.
affair. And then,
Yes.
my husband's family lives in Jersey, so then we're gonna spend a week with them after. It's like really the perfect plan.
That's so perfect. That is so
Yeah.
awesome. That is so awesome. So can you tell us what was your journey becoming an actor? Like how did you get involved in acting?
Well, it really was a life journey. I feel like it's something I kind of wanted to do my whole life. Like I was
Mm,
obsessed with watching shows and cartoons and movies, and my family
mhm.
was like really into watching movies in general and memorizing the lines and watching them over and over again.
Wow.
My dad had like I think a 500 movie like collection in the house. Like we were just obsessed. And
Wow.
so I found a couple movies that I loved, and specifically I remember Kirsten Dunst was like coming up at that
Mm,
time, and
mhm.
I just was like, I want to have a career like that. And so I'd like memorize all her lines and stuff. I was like a total nerd, and it was great.
Yes.
And then I did all the plays in high school, and then I decided I was like, wait, like I could definitely do this. And then I got into theater school, and I did that for 3 years
Oh, awesome.
post high school. And then I got my first agent, and literally the first audition I went to, I booked it, which by the way, doesn't happen
Yeah,
very
yeah.
often. And it didn't really happen like that afterward. It was kind of like I guess a way to kind of get me up and running. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's been really like serendipitous the way a lot of things have happened. And I've said this in other interviews before, where it's like in my high school yearbook I wrote that I was going to be an actress, like that's
Wow.
my job. And
Yeah.
people, it had teacher, like doctor, whatever, and then they'd be like, okay, like Cindy, but like what's your like backup plan? And I was like, I don't have a backup plan. And
Mm,
I think that there was like a naiveness to that in a way.
mhm.
Like it wasn't like, but there was also a part of me that just knew, like there was a knowingness. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, I didn't know what. And it certainly wasn't an easy journey, but
Yeah.
it was so worth it. I feel like anything that like has ups and downs is always worth it
Yeah.
when you look back on it.
Yeah.
Process it's not always that easy to recognize, but yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that's kind of the cliffs notes of my career and how I got to be. But I didn't come from a family of actors or anything like that. Not that there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with that, because if I did, that would have been a whole lot easier.
Right. So what would you say is the thing that you love the most about acting that makes you go all in with it?
Um, I think that's changed over time,
Mm,
but
mhm.
I think the thing that was always with me from the time that I was a kid was story and telling
Mm,
the story of humanity and what we go through and why we go through it and
yeah.
all of the ups and downs and emotions that we go through. I'm really fascinated with like the trials and tribulations of human beings, and how we individually as people think we're so different from each other when really
Mm,
we're one and of the same.
mhm.
And with different stories. And I think that that's what's the cool part, is that
Yeah,
we feel sadness, we feel anger, we feel love, we feel pain, all differently. But yeah, so I guess, but the way that it kind of started was, it was like an escape for me. I think I
yeah,
I wanted to escape some of the reality that was my life,
yeah.
and I could do that by being in a play, or being by myself at home and dressing up like a princess, or like
Mm,
whatever, or memorizing another character's part and being like, okay, and like being so into it. It was,
yeah,
I guess it was my imagination in a way.
yeah. So do
And now
you
I
have
just love it because I love still telling story, but also like I love knowing that people can relate to the stories, and
yes.
like the fact that I'm and how connected I've been to people all around the world. Like what a magical experience. Like I could like start crying just thinking about it. Like the fact that
Mm.
I just met you on Instagram and talking, I think is so cool. It's so cool.
Yes, yes. So, do you see yourself ever getting behind the camera, like getting behind the scenes, whether like doing writing or producing or directing? Do you see that as being a trajectory for your film career?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think the writing aspect is really difficult. I've
Mhm.
definitely attempted that, and I get kind of like in my head about it. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
this isn't good. And then like, you throw it on the ground and you start over.
Yeah.
Or just press delete now because no one read. But but I definitely could see myself directing
Mm.
at some point. I really, some of my favorite directors that I've worked with that are actors, directors, like they love to like, get nitty gritty and be like, yeah, so like, why are you doing that? And like,
Yeah.
what's, oh yeah, 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 that. Okay, more of that. Okay, that's great. We got that. But what about like a little bit of this? And you're like, yes, I never thought of that. And like, it's just so, I think that that's cool. Like the collaboration with actors, I've always
Yeah.
really enjoyed. And um, I have like coached some actors in along my career, here and there, and I love that part. I love that part, the discoveries with people and seeing what someone can do, and everyone is taking the idea through their own filter, and so
Mm.
it's never going to be what maybe you would have done, but
Right.
what they do is like so unique, and that's why like when actors have auditions and things, and they go in and they got the role, like I don't feel any kind of jealousy. It's more like, well, they were the perfect person, they were the perfect fit, and that's just what it
Yeah.
was, because we're all different in our own way and in our
Yeah.
own rights.
That's such a beautiful way to look at it because it's so easy to get competitive and then also compare yourself to other people because then you start to think, "Oh, what didn't I have?" or "How didn't I look?" or how did you fight against that as you were going through your auditions and yeah, like kind of hitting the pavement and doing things like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it was more like with time,
Mm,
and also just like getting to know your, other people that you audition with, and
yeah.
that kind of thing. And I have this great story that I've I think I've maybe told once or twice, but like I remember auditioning for Get Smart, the one with Steve Carell years
Yeah.
ago, like what was that, like 12 years ago? And I auditioned to play this woman that works in a bakery, and who was Russian. And I was like, I love Russian accents. I got this. It's gonna be great. And so I also looked like I was 12 when I was like 25. So there was that. But anyway, so I went in, did the audition, and didn't get it. And I was like, man, I feel like I really nailed that. And then when I watched the movie, the woman was like probably actually Russian, and was like maybe like my grandmother's age, and was like completely different.
Right.
And I don't know, I just look at that and I'm like, it's really like Russian roulette. Like you go in there, you do the best you can, and everything is out of your control of like what it's going to end up being.
Yeah.
And when I watched it, I was like, oh yeah, that girl definitely deserved the part, not
Yeah.
me.
When you said Russian roulette, I quickly wanted to say no pun intended because that was a perfect that was perfect right there.
I see, this is how smart I am. I
Yeah.
didn't even think of that.
Oh my gosh. So Cindy, you have not one, but two Christmas movies coming
Yes.
out this season. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm excited. So can you
You must
tell
be
us?
in this overload right now.
Yes. Yes.
You're like, thank you for acknowledging where I'm at.
Listen, when I yeah, my listeners feel my joy. I'm gonna call it joy. It's a
Yes.
joy. So can you talk about, before we get specifically into the two movies you're in, how you got into this kind of made for TV movie space with Hallmark and Lifetime?
Man, I gotta tell you, I don't know. But I'm super happy it all worked out. Thank you. No, I mean, it's really funny because for years, so I had done, so I'm originally from Montreal, and there was a lot of like Lifetime movies going on in that neck of the woods. So in
Mm,
Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, they would do a lot of Lifetime movies. So
okay.
in the beginnings of my career, I did like a couple, small parts in a couple Lifetime movies. And then I had like a supporting in a movie with Leah Thompson. And that was awesome. And, I'm obsessed with Back to the Future. So like dreams do come true. Um, and, and so then I moved to Vancouver, and there was tons of Hallmark, and I had never auditioned for a Hallmark movie. And I auditioned and I auditioned and then I auditioned, and I auditioned, I auditioned. I mean, I must have done like hundreds of auditions, like tons,
Wow.
never booked a thing. And I was like, wow, like I feel like I'd be really good at this, but like, okay, maybe it's just not meant to be. And this was for like a couple years. And then I dyed my hair brown for 2 years just because I was like, you know what? I just want to try something different, see what
Yeah.
kind of roles I could get. And then that's when I booked my first ever Hallmark movie called Lucky in Love, which I played a supporting character, like the best friend,
Hmm.
which was super fun. And I was like, yay, the Hallmark curse has ended. Uh, and then I ended up not long after that booking Cedar Cove, where I played
Mm.
Becca Jennings, the kind of
Hmm.
like character that people love to hate on Cedar Cove. And then I ended up booking Unleashing Mr. Darcy. And it was really one of those things that just happened. I had helped my friend audition for the role of Elizabeth.
Wow.
I know. And so I was staying with her in LA. I helped her tape it, and I was just the voice behind the camera. And she sent it off, and maybe like 2 weeks later, I got the audition. And I remember feeling kind of bad because I was like, oh, like I helped her, and now I'm gonna ask her to help me. Like this is kind of like weird, but
Yeah.
we're cool like that. Like it's all good. And she was like super happy to help. And at the time when I auditioned, I still had brown hair. And then I ended up finding a couple days later, I booked the part, and then they're like, hey, would you mind going back blonde? I was like, no, actually, I was planning on doing that anyway. Anyway, and then it kind of just blew up from there. Truly, like that was the beginning of it all. And I don't really know, like that 10,000 hour rule, I guess, where you
Yeah.
put in the work, I suppose, and it just happens. But I think like once you find yourself in this world of movies, you kind of find yourself on this list of like people who do those movies. And so I guess I'm on a list somewhere. Uh, maybe there's little stickers next to my name. I don't know.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel really grateful. It's honestly like the gift that keeps on giving. And I've also been able to do like, some pretty like bad characters on Lifetime too through this process. So it's been like really nice. I've been able to do a little bit of everything, which,
Yeah.
which is awesome. So yeah, I
Yes.
guess
And
that's
we
the
love watching them. So thank you. Thank
yeah.
you. So let's talk about your first one that's coming out December 18th on Lifetime at 8 p.m. It's called Toying with the Holidays, and you play opposite Chad Michael Murray, who's a favorite here at Dear Hallmark, I must say. So, can you tell us a little bit about the premise of that movie?
Yeah. So, basically, I had, I'm working hard. I'm in the city. My dad passed away, and one of the joys that we had together is we would go to this Christmas festival every year, and he would be the conductor of this little kid train
Mhm.
that would bring a lot of joy to the community and everyone. And he had a huge love and passion for trains in general, which was then passed down to me. And because I've been away from home so long, I also missed the fact that he passed away because I was too
Mm.
busy. And so I decided to go home for the holidays and spend time with my mom. And I bring my son, and I decide I'm going to show him what Christmas is really made of, the way that my dad showed me, except the train is no longer in service,
Uh-uh.
isn't even available anymore. So I am on a mission to get this train back and running. And who's going to save the day with me? Chad Michael Murray.
Awesome. I love that. First of all, I love trains. It's my preferred method of transportation. So,
It's
like,
incredible.
I love it. I love it.
And
So,
having like a train under the Christmas
oh
tree.
my
And
gosh,
it's so, I don't know, there's just something really, and there are so many fanatics out there of trains. Like there are like
it's a
train
thing.
clubs, train,
Yes.
there are actually, this is a funny story. Right after I shot the movie, my husband and I went to Lake Arrowhead, not far from where we live, for like a vacation. And it was like 2 weeks after I shot the movie. And there was literally a sign for a train festival right there in the city. And I was just like, what are the chances that I took a photo and I sent it to our director, Bradley? And I was like, wait, I've never seen this before. And now I'm seeing this
Right,
like
right.
advertisement for a Christmas festival specifically for trains. Like I thought that was like pretty magical.
Yes. Yes. So, can you talk about your character specifically? How do you feel like this character is different from other characters that you've played in other movies?
Um, well, I play a mom, which I think is really, I feel like I haven't played a lot of moms, even though I'm at that age now. Um, but it's really cool, to Callum Schonecker plays my son, and he's such a cute kid, and he does a lot of voice work, so he has this like really unique voice. And
Mhm.
so I think that playing a mom, you kind of go in there and you immediately want to create a bond with the actor playing your son. and
Yeah.
and I don't have children, but I have a lot of close kids in my life. And
Yeah.
so it's really cool to access that aspect of yourself. And then, I think that there's a really nice rapport with me and Chad's characters of just kind of that really nice back and forth. And he's the small town guy who has a kind of a knickknack shop, and he
Hmm.
repairs those little trains. And so I think it was just really fun. And I grew up having a train around the Christmas tree, and so like I just had that kind of bond with it. But one of the things I really loved is this is a really family oriented movie where
Mhm.
it's all about my son, my mom, and creating that Christmas magic with family. And especially after one has had pain of losing a parent, and then celebrating that first Christmas without them, and wanting it to
Yeah.
be perfect, but it not necessarily always working out that way. And there's that kind of side of things. So I thought that that was really cool, and I feel like I haven't really gone down that journey before, so that I really enjoyed that part of this movie.
That's awesome. So on the flip side,
Yes.
how would you say you relate to the character that you play in this movie?
I would relate to kind of her the fact that she won't take no for an answer. Really adamant, and she's
Yeah.
really which is something I find in a lot of characters, or maybe that's just what I bring to them. But
Mm.
they're just really strong female driven characters who really like have this idea in their minds, and it doesn't always go as planned, but they find some way to make it happen. And yeah, I think that's just really true for life. Like a lot of times that's just like what women do, you know,
Yeah.
and we just always find a way. We just find
Yes.
a way to make things happen.
Because where there's a will, there's a
There's
way,
a
and we
way.
will find it.
That's got to be a movie right there. Hallmark.
Right.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
There's a way. Subtitle, and I'm gonna
Why
find
it's
it.
called Will. That's the thing.
There we go. There we go. And the town is like Weymouth or something. Like, so with toying with the holidays, what would you say was the hardest challenge you had with playing the character that you are in this movie?
I would say, hmm. Ooh, that's tough. The toughest part. Having a connection with Chad was really tough. Sorry, I can hold a straight face for that one.
That was perfect.
No, that was actually so easy. He's such a good guy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. Probably the hardest part was probably like our last was okay. So this is it. We shot this movie in August of this year in Ontario. And so it gets super hot and muggy there. And I think while we were shooting our movie, there was actually a heat wave. And so wearing winter clothes in the summer, no, thank you. It like I could feel the drips like falling down my back, and you're like in the scene, you're like, yeah, totally. And you're like drip, and you're like, you can't see that in my face, Ken.
Right. Oh my
You're
goodness.
hiding like a fan like under the table of the scene and that kind of good stuff. So yeah, that's probably the hardest part. But if that's the hardest part, then we're doing okay.
And again, we thank you for it because we know it's grueling. Like whether it's Lifetime, whether it's Hallmark, GAC, we know if we're getting a Christmas movie, it's going to be filmed in the dead heat of summer.
No, and then if you're getting a summer movie, you know that it was shot in the winter when it was freezing. So.
Yes, because I remember when you did Chasing Waterfalls with Christopher Russell, and you guys were in the water. Was that water freezing?
Thanks a lot for bringing that back.
Because I remember, I was like,
so talk about losing brain power. Like,
oh my gosh,
my body was like, and we're shutting.
Yeah.
It was, I don't like cold, there's like this big thing that everyone's doing with the cold plunges and the cold showers. And, I've done a little bit of that, but I doing it in like ice cold water while you're on camera in a bathing suit is like another story. But, again, it's all in the name of movie magic, and I'm here for it.
Yes. I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And there's another one that's tough to work with too, is Chris Russell.
Oh gosh. I mean, how did you have to like manufacture that interest?
That's where the acting comes into play.
And how many times, because you worked with Christopher Russell, you did
4 times.
4?
Yes, because we did the movie, we did a movie called A Puppy for Christmas year in 2015.
First of all, I didn't know that was you because I love that movie. And then I think either you or somebody else posted it, and I was like, no, this is not Busby, Cindy, because I love that movie. I love that movie.
It's really cute, isn't it? I shot that right literally 3 or 4 days after Unleashing Mr. Darcy. So it was like boom, boom, done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Now I gotta watch it again. So let's talk about your second movie that will be airing right the day after Toying with the Holidays on
Yeah.
GAC at 8 p.m. December 19th. This one's titled Joy for Christmas, and you're playing opposite Sam Page in this one. Can you tell us a little bit about this movie?
Yeah, so basically my character has left her family business. And she finds out that every year the charity that her mother started, and she worked with her mom has now passed away. There's a lot of parents that pass away, turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the charity has lost its funding. And so it's a week before Christmas time, and we need to bring, and this is like a nationwide charity that brings toys to kids every year. And so I have this great idea to get a well-known celebrity to come around and help us raise money in a really short period of time. Cue in Sam Page, who is an ex-famous baseball player who has lost the Christmas spirit. And I must teach him all about the Christmas spirit in hopes that he will help me with raising money for this charity. So it's a really beautiful story because I think it tackles the theme that's probably one of the more important ones during the holidays, which is giving back.
Yeah.
And community support, coming together, and not necessarily about the material objects, but really just about the giving your time and energy to those who need it the most. And
Yes.
and that's a beautiful thing. So it's a really, and there's so many fun parts in the movie. There's a Sam is dressed as Santa Claus, and we go ice skating, and wear an elf costume, and it's like there's so many different there's actually so many activities. There's a Christmas market, there's a music show, we have an incredible musician in the movie. It's like literally everything you want in a Christmas movie in one movie.
Yes. Give it all to me. That's what I want. Yes. I'm here for it. I know,
and I can't believe we accomplished that, making that movie in 3 weeks. I was just like, how did we do all of these things? My brain was like, bye bye.
Yeah. Now, when did you shoot that one in comparison to Toying with the Holidays?
So Toying with the Holidays was August of this year, and then Joy for Christmas was on October.
Wow. So that was
October. So I got back home beginning of November.
Wow. Now, sidebar, because I watched the Christmas special, the GAC Christmas special, and when it was time for them to talk about your movie, and you did your little, I said, look at Cindy hosting. I could totally see you doing a little hosting bit. And I'm like, why? I said, I need to see Cindy more as a host doing a Christmas special or doing something. I loved it. And I'm campaigning for it.
Read my journal. Did you not?
Listen, I'm here with you. Tinks. I'm here with you.
Honestly, okay, so I get a bit neurotic, so I probably had like 75,000 takes, but I really enjoy it. And I've when I was younger in my can't wait to be an actor phase, I used to do like interviews, like I was on Entertainment Tonight or something like that. And I know that it's so much more work than me looking in the mirror pretending like I'm talking to someone. But yeah, it was fun, and they asked me to do it, and I was like, I don't know how to make this interesting because I wasn't at home, I didn't have my Christmas decorations,
Right.
And then I had all of the costumes behind me. I was like, oh, people will like this, and so it kind of all came together. But thank you for noticing.
Absolutely. I picked up on that. I said, you better close out this Christmas special with this as a host. I said, she better go ahead. So
Thank you.
Absolutely. What would you say, and you mentioned this briefly when you were talking about the premise of the movie, but what would you say drew you to the script for this movie?
Well, I genuinely love Christmas movies and I can't get enough of it. So I was very excited about that. But honestly, the giving back aspect of it was,
Mhm.
I thought, a really beautiful thing. We've seen a lot of Christmas movies, and that's not always the theme. I feel like I haven't seen that many of movies that kind of touch base in this way.
Yeah.
So I just thought that that was a really beautiful thing, and it's something that it's funny, like the whole time I was reading the script and playing the part, I was totally thinking of Jen Lilly a lot, because she's such a little angel elf who's like constantly giving
Yeah.
back and doing that kind of thing. And I try to give back as much as I can as well, through like doing my cameos
Mhm.
and doing various spots. So I just, it's important, for, if you can, whether it's with your time, whether
Yeah.
it's money, or whether it's just, I don't know, just offering support in any way. I absolutely love that kind of work and message, and I'm all about spreading, joy and messages. And what better way to do it than in a Christmas movie?
Yes, that kind of literally segues into my next question. I was going to ask, what is it you love the most about filming Christmas movies? Because you've also done non-holiday content. So what
Yes.
is it that lightens you up the most about filming Christmas movies?
I guess I just have like a lot of really great Christmas memories of just being
Mm.
with my family and putting up the decorations. And I honestly prefer Christmas to my own birthday. Like
I
I
thought I
just,
was crazy. Okay, there we
oh no,
go.
no, I'm here with
We're
you.
kindred spirits.
I think
Absolutely.
yeah, and I just have a lot of I guess I'm a really sentimental person,
Hmm.
is what it comes down to. I really love the sentiment of Christmas and that
Yeah.
ritual. And I have a way that I like to do things every year, because that's how I did it growing up. And that's
Hmm.
um and yeah, so I guess that's kind of part of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, that I just connect with that aspect. And the idea of coming together, like it's a specific time of year where people go out of their way to come together and spend time together. And I love cooking, and I love hosting things. And
Yeah.
as an actor, if I'm going to be totally honest, as an actor, Christmas time is like the only time where you can go away and do something and not feel like you're missing out on like an
Mm.
opportunity or an audition or something.
Hmm.
It's like there's no days off when you're in this industry. So it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, I think it's more like sentimental stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So getting back to Joy for Christmas, what do you hope viewers like myself will take from the movie when we see the ending credits roll?
um I think uh well, I think I hope that people will be inspired by the movie, and also to know that it doesn't matter what space that you're in or what season you're in right now. There's always something you can do to
Mm,
brighten somebody's day.
mm, mm.
And just coming together as a community. And I think now more than ever, people, it's so important to come together in love and appreciation and gratitude. And I think that I hope that that's what the feeling that people will give, of sense of of joy for Christmas, or just
Yeah.
joy in general. It doesn't have to be Christmas. It can be any time of the year. And knowing that you can just, even with like a smile in your day, or you can truly change the trajectory of someone's life just by being kind and generous with your being.
Yes.
And I'm all about that life. So
Yes. Yes.
so I
Yes.
hope that people can take something like that away from the movie.
I love that. So, who do you still hope to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
I would love to work with Andrew Walker. I think that would
Ah,
be really
my
cool.
cousin.
Yeah, yes, I know. You just had him on your show. I love it. Yeah, I mean, he's super funny and like genuinely like a nice human being. And he's
Yeah.
also from Montreal. What?
Whoop, whoop.
And who else? Who else? I don't know. Like, there's just so many people. I
Mhm.
would honestly love to work with Tyler Hymes again too. I know they're like, uh, they're probably going to star in their own movie soon.
That's the hope. That's the hope.
You know what my hope is? I would love to do a movie with um, like kind of what they just released recently. Oh gosh, what is it called? Aaron Cahill was in it, and like it was
Oh,
kind of like three women kind
yeah.
of
Every time the bell
movie.
rings. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And
Mhm.
I thought that that was cool. I remember like a year or two ago talking about like how, you know, there's certain people I'm never gonna get to work with, you know,
Mhm.
sort of like Lacey Chabert and Aaron Cahill and Candace Cameron or whoever. And it would be so fun to do kind of like a I don't know, a Hallmark like group movie of sorts
Yeah.
where we
Yeah.
get a bunch of people together and create this ensemble cast.
Yes.
That would be such a great, like such a cool thing.
The Hallmark universe would combust if like we get
Yes.
if we get those, man. Yeah. And
Maybe
even
maybe like, yeah,
no, go
Kelly
ahead.
Rowland in there, like just yeah, yeah, we need to take a moment for that.
That's why I needed a moment of silence.
Like,
I
talk
needed a
about like
moment.
never aging. I just saw a billboard for her movie and I was like, what is happening?
Like porcelain skin. I'm just like captivated.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I know.
Captivated. But well, thank you so much, Cindy, for coming on.
I can't believe we did this. This is so exciting. I just think you are such an incredible breath of fresh air. I think you're hilarious. I think your like passion just like comes right through. And I'm so excited for you that you're doing this. And I'm grateful to know you in the process because and I'm grateful to Tyler Hymes for like sharing your page. And I was like, who is this? And then I clicked and I was like, yes, please.
Oh my gosh, I'm grateful too. And that's my hope is to tell him either at Christmas Con or Rama Drama. It'll probably
Yeah.
more likely be Rama Drama, but yeah, I just want to tell him thank you because who would have thought that one little thing and look at where we are
What
now.
a blessing. There's so many. See, literally took him probably 2 seconds to share that, but what a difference it can make in his life, your life, my life, like everybody. It's just, that's the ripple effect, like the
Yeah,
serendipity. Like yes, I love it. And
I love it.
anyway, thank you so much for taking the time and allowing your listeners to hear about, my journey and the movies coming up. And hopefully we can do this again soon.
Absolutely. But before I let you go,
Yes.
I want to ask, is there anything you want to leave the listeners or the watchers, whether it's about the holidays, anything in general that you want to leave with the listeners and the watchers?
Mm. Wow, so many things. um, well, I would like to say that I know the holidays is, we just talked about how much we love the holidays and the joy of the holidays, but I also realize that the holidays, whether it's Christmas or any other time, can be also a really difficult time for people.
Yeah.
And I'm here to give permission to people to feel those feelings and to acknowledge the fact that it's not easy and that's okay. And to, also welcome those feelings so that we can move past them. Because sometimes I feel like
Mm,
we compartmentalize and we feel like we need to put on a face, but sometimes just like picking up the phone and sharing with someone, it makes such a big difference. And I think that that is so important, is to be there for each other during those moments. And also, we find ourselves in groups of people, whether it's friends or family, and sometimes we're going to get triggered and we're going
yeah.
to feel the things, but just take a breath, acknowledge that you're doing the best you can, they're doing the best they can. You can have a conversation about it if they're willing and open, but if they're not, that you're able to also like transmute that feeling and send them love despite the trigger and the feelings.
Yeah.
Um, because we're all here learning in this like crazy world.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a really, through those difficult triggers, is an opportunity for growth and learning. And if we can take those times to really embrace the difficult aspect, then we're able to grow beyond the experience. And so I think that the holidays is an opportunity to do that. And that's what I know I'm going to try to do.
Oh, Tinkerbell has spoken, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Cindy. Really, truly, I'm appreciative. Thank you so much. And for everyone listening and watching, you can check the show notes or the description box for all of the links for Dear Hallmark and stuff. And be sure to check out Cindy's 2 movies, December 18th and 19th, on both Lifetime and GAC at 8 o'clock. And I will talk to you guys in the next episode.